Welcome to the Off Axis Podcast.
Hi, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast. It's Off Axis.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Off Axis Podcast. I got Mitch here and Dillon Vance. How you guys doing today?
Good.
I'm chilling, man. Tired from bouncing with these guys, but I'm chilling.
Yeah, so then let's first start off with Dillon. You got a new house.
Oh yeah. Okay. I do not own the house, but we are leasing a house north beyond the hills. It's like the furthest.
It's like deep Summerlin.
North, but it's beyond. It's not even in Summerlin. I didn't even know that you could go above Summerlin and still be in Las Vegas. But
yeah,
that's
like
where we are.
Almost like Mount Charleston, kind of like
and
pretty far up there.
Finished building a double-sided Trampwall.
Was that the first thing you guys built when you got
10 days ago. Built, yes. We set up Rebecca's teeter board, and we're jumping on that for a little bit. But we were all on contracts and going to auditions and all over the place. So for the first 2 or 3 months, all of the people on the lease were like barely there.
Damn.
And now there's only 2 of us
You and Marley?
Yeah.
Who all lives there?
Me, Marley Webster, Rebecca Bubner, Julian Kalari, Raul Fernandez, or you might know him on Instagram as Raul Vidaboa. It looks like Raul. And we have a temporary sublet moving in March, and then Julian gets back.
Sounds like there's going to be a lot of shuffling going on in that house, I bet.
Yeah, there's a lot.
You guys are like switching rooms and all that kind of stuff. The house is pretty sweet. I saw it for the first time yesterday. You guys do have a pretty freaking sweet trampoline in the backyard. I'm sure Julian is in heaven because he's always begging for a
he hasn't actually touched it yet.
Oh my god.
He just gets to see videos of it, just taunt him.
He's in FOMO heaven right now.
And he's I think he's bouncing on like an 8-foot wall or something right now.
Maybe 7.
I think
It's got to be torture. He knows there's a 12-foot wall in his backyard,
Yeah.
and he's over there doing shows on his ideal height of 7 feet. Literally at like half of what he wants.
Yeah.
But
it's ready for him, and we're ready. We're still like modifying things and getting the house set up and settling in, but
yeah,
the wall's ready to go.
Is this your guys' first time all getting a place together other than like those social media houses?
Yes.
Is this your first time being on a lease?
No.
So you guys are all like, whose idea was it to put it together?
It actually all started because, not to put her business out there, but Rebecca was looking to buy a house for the past like year or 2 and didn't want to be in Vegas, but felt like Vegas was the right place because hello, industry.
Yeah.
And the market is just crazy. And then Julian was looking to get a place with me, and then I was on a contract with Marley, and I was like, yo, this is great. We should just get a place, the 3 of us. And then we're looking in like the 3 bedrooms. There wasn't enough space to put a wall or like even the teeter board in the backyard. And so just going for a 5-bedroom with all of us in it, it had the space to put a teeter board, to put a double-sided tramp wall, and we have a pool. And now we have the opportunity to have a little bit of extra space for floaters and friends who are coming in and out of town.
Yeah, lots of space
can
there,
crash
for
at the
sure.
place for a little bit and just have a place to be.
Yeah, and Mitch, you're living in a van down by the river, basically?
Yeah, I moved into my van and tried to join the circus, so can't rate that any different.
How's that going for you?
Good. I wouldn't be here without it.
The van life?
No, I like the longest. So since I moved from Michigan, where I'm from originally, out to Southern California and with these guys to do junk tramp at the beginning of the pandemic, the longest I've stayed in any one place is 6 months. And that was Fallbrook. That was the last house. So the last year, the longest, I stayed at Woodward for 5 months, and then went to Colorado for 2 months. Went super broke. Like van broke down. So I lost my car, lost my house. Contract fell through. Job fell through. All in like 2 days.
Was that was after 2020 though?
Yeah.
Just pure dumb luck.
Yeah. So basically, like, moved in with these guys. I didn't do Trampwall at the time.
When did you move in with us?
April of 2020. It was like a month. It was like a month into the pandemic. But yeah, so like moved in on like a week's notice. Like I bought a ticket and left a week later. But I didn't do Trampwall at the time. Like I did trampoline and I was a coach. That was my main thing. I coached a lot. Moved out there to help them do video stuff because I had just graduated from film school, and then the entire film industry just shut down.
Yikes.
Yeah.
But it is good, though. We need more filmers in the circus community. There's only a handful of them right now that are putting out actual high quality. What are you doing?
I'm
making
Tying
I'm
up-
making these
I'm making
difficult.
a little bit of a loop here because the tension from the cable I could like feel on my head, so I'm
Got
putting
it.
the tension on the microphone thing instead of my neck.
Okay, so if you pull back, the microphone will fall off the table
Now you're
instead.
getting
All right, so yeah, so it's good to have more filmers in the industry because there's not very many people that put out high quality content in the circus industry. Right now, I can only really think of myself and Austin Bradley. Who else is doing film stuff really?
Is David Matz a little bit? I know he has the space, but I don't know how much he's creating.
David Matz has like a whole slow-mo project that he was doing that focuses on circus and aesthetics. I don't remember the last time that he put it out though.
Yeah,
Cool.
his space is pretty sweet though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking to create, and it's always like it's so fun. So, and I'm learning FPV and like all these different things. So I'm just trying to explore, you know.
Yeah, that's good
This
though.
was a mistake.
And are you you're living in LA?
Yeah, so I'm floating around SoCal right now. So, God, let's see. So I lived with all these guys at Junk Tramp for about a year. And then I got a job at Woodward Tahoe. I was a manager there for the summer. I was there for 5 months. Realized that I didn't want to stay, and then decided to pursue the performance route. So I left my full-time job, went to Colorado. Like I said, like basically just totally bottomed out. Got the text to do the zoo and do my first contract in San Diego. So I did that, and then used that money to go to Mexico, and I watched Garrett do Hoya. And that was like extremely inspirational. I went there, cried at the end of the show. It was great.
Cried, huh?
Oh yeah, dude. It was my
Was
first
that
Cirque
good?
show.
Okay.
My first Cirque show. My homie was in it that I lived with,
Yeah.
and it was Trampwall, like at a super, at a really high level. And it was just I'd never actually like seen it in a show like that. So I was like really inspired. I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. So I came back from Mexico. And I've been like mostly floating around SoCal, working down there, but like been just so motivated since I got back. It's been so much fun. And that's why I'm here to bounce with these guys. Like that might be one of the best setups in the country, dude.
Yeah, it's
Like, for
definitely
real.
really good. When
real.
Marley told me to shake the wall and I didn't move an inch, I was like, ooh,
Yeah,
that is
freestanding
nice.
wall, like nuts.
Yeah.
So yeah, floating around SoCal right now, mostly like LA, Orange. I coach in the Redlands, just trying to get through the summer right now and just explore. But I got the van, so here I am.
Yeah. How is Hoya's like outside of the show? Is it like a pretty nice area?
Yeah, dude, it's incredible.
Is that like a
the-
resort or something?
Vidanta
Yeah,
Resorts.
so it's at a resort. It's a very like curated experience. Like you get on like this like golf cart shuttle from the resort, and they take you kind of under the highway. And then that's the only way you can get to the venue is like through these shuttles. So they get to control like everything that you like see from the time you get off. And so you go into this bar called Nectar. It's just cool aesthetic. Got a lot of really cool hanging light fixtures. And then you look out and there's like, this like lazy river. There's this man-made river with an island in the middle. And on this canoe going around the river are two people in like traditional like Mayan like war paint. And they'll go around and they just look really stoic, and one of them will like fire breathe once in a while.
That's
and this
dope.
is while you're waiting to go into the theater. Like you haven't even been in the theater yet. And then you go in the theater and it's obviously all set decorated for the show. It's because it's been running forever. But the food is incredible.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. Like when you buy ticket packages, like one of the things they ask you is like, one of the things that factors in pricing is the food. Because you sit down and the base ticket package gets like hors d'oeuvres and champagne. And then from there you can go up. But like even the little hors d'oeuvres, there was like 3 different categories of food, like every single one.
I don't know what an hors d'oeuvre is. What is that?
It's just like finger foods.
Okay.
Yeah, like It's on a toothpick.
Pigs in a blanket.
Yeah. Yeah. I went to Cirque du Soleil. They had the best pigs in blanket I'd ever had.
Ritz crackers with feta cheese.
And champagne.
What else do they have in the show there?
Oh God. I remember the hand balance acro person was incredible. I really like that. They have this whole sequence where people are rigged from the ceiling and the whole scene is underwater, and that's really cool because they'll go out like over the crowd.
There's water in the show?
No, that's the thing. Like in the show,
it's
they
make believe.
Yeah, pretend water.
they jump off the ship or whatever, and then the whole next scene or sequence is supposed to be like underwater, and they drop stuff down from the ceiling to make it, like seaweed. Really, really gorgeous.
This is a podcast. Most people are actually just listening to
That's
Dylan.
okay.
They're not gonna see
they
your
would not
acting.
have known that I was doing anything if you hadn't stopped the conversation to talk. I was just acting out the water.
For those of you
okay?
listening, Dylan is pretending he's in water.
He's a very nice jellyfish.
but they ruined it. It's just a secret for the.
Sounds like a pretty sweet show, though.
Do recommend. Highly recommend.
Nice.
Plus, the Trampwall cast is just so good.
It's pretty good act, I'm assuming. What is it, 4 people in the act?
Yes.
Do they have rotation, Like, is it?
I don't know.
I don't
That's
think
interesting.
so.
I don't think so either. I think it's just like 4 people. Garrett's the only American in the entire cast, so.
Does everyone else speak English?
He said there's English, but there's still like it's different, because it's still different culturally. So when we went to go visit him, he said that we were the first fully American conversation he had in like 2.5 months since he moved there.
Oh man,
His Spanish is getting better though. So shout out Garrett, you're killing it.
That's awesome. Man.
Yeah,
that's like for a while I was going down to Panama like every year for this event, and my Spanish would get pretty fluent, but then I would forget it for the rest of the year, and I don't think I've used Spanish in like almost 8 years or so. So now hola and adios.
What event was in Panama?
It's called Cultura de Ruedas. I don't know if that's how you say it, but it's culture on wheels. It's basically an action sports event. There was a skate competition, scooter demos, BMX demos, motocross, all kinds of stuff. It's kind of like, I don't know how I would describe it. It's just a big, huge like event with all kinds of like.
Is it a
vendors
contest?
For
too?
skateboarding, they had like best trick contests and
Okay.
stuff. For scootering, it was just like they would send like down the Razor Pros and like some other popular.
Is that how you
scooter
got in?
riders.
Just like do Team Razor?
Yeah. I was the team manager for Razor at the time, so yeah.
That'll do it.
The first year we went down there, I was not the team manager, and our team manager actually spoke Spanish, and it was all good. But the next year, I was the guy in charge, and I didn't speak any Spanish, so we ran into a lot of walls. It was like walking around with a Google Translate, like trying to show people, like trying to order at McDonald's and stuff.
That's an experience.
You get really good at speaking with your hands. Like I had a roommate named Rafa Olmos. He's from Spain, and he only really spoke Spanish, but he lived with me for a while, and he's like one of the greatest teeterboard artists in the world.
You lived with Rafa almost.
Yeah, Rafa lived with me for like a year or so, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, he's really good. But my Spanish got really good while he was around me. And then, like, it was kind of fun, being around someone where you had to speak a little bit of Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And then he left, and I was like, damn it, who am I going to practice my Spanish with?
Use it or lose it.
I never wanted to until I went to a country that speaks Spanish, and I was like, "Oh, I can see the usefulness in this." Oh, right.
I get it now.
So how was
US is
performing?
behind, bro.
How was performing at the zoo?
Oh, dude, so fun. Yeah, that like
You guys have like a 6-foot wall?
it's a little 6-foot wall, but like what it is the people in that contract in that show are just really good people. Like I had like my manager John, fantastic. Pete and Rachel that own the production company, amazing people. Like
What's the production company?
What?
Ray Creations.
Oh, it's Ray Creations? I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
I didn't even know there's a show at the zoo.
They mostly just that's the thing, they've been doing this.
How did you not know that there was a
Dylan.
show at the zoo?
Anyway.
So many people on your podcast have done that show.
That's true.
I don't think we've really talked about the zoo before. Maybe we haven't. I
San
just
Diego
forgot.
Zoo in the summer. Go see the show. There's
Right.
Trampwall.
Yeah?
They're animals.
Is it just Trampwall? I saw some photos and stuff.
Yeah, so it's just a stage with a trampoline and like a little 6-foot wall. It's a 3-person show. They're like 12 minutes long. It's pretty mellow. It was fun though, and I had never performed trampoline or trampwall. Like I did 1 year performing for the Pistons. I did acro dunking.
Yeah.
But I had never done trampoline or trampwall, so mellow was fine with me. I got to practice being on stage.
Yeah.
What animal were you?
Oh, it was Christmas. We were all elves.
Oh, that's right.
I was elf
Summer's
number.
coming up. You didn't do that one.
I was elf number 2.
Oh, man.
I was primarily elf 2. Sometimes elf 3.
Whoa.
Have you done the zoo?
No, but it's on the list for this summer.
It's fun. It's good people.
I know.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Any
Mhm.
excuse to be in San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego's like the greatest place to live, I think, other than like the extreme cost and everything. But like San Diego is so nice.
It's my favorite city in the United States.
Yeah, I would definitely put it up there as one of my favorite ones too. Like Orange County, the area too. That whole area is pretty nice. I would say Orange County and down from California is pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Up from that is a little hectic.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
I grew up there, so I'm just kind of
That's-
like,
yeah.
I don't know. Every time I go there, I'm like,
Where
get me outta here.
exactly?
Where did I grow up?
Yeah.
Arcadia, which is a little bit north of Los Angeles.
Okay.
About like 20 minutes away from downtown LA. But okay. And what contracts do you guys have coming up? Mitch, you have something, right?
Yeah, I do. I was just looking at Dylan's face when you asked that question.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
What did I do?
You'll
You'll
need to take a quick break for this.
Please hold for our not
new
sponsor.
Amsterdam raspberry shots. That
I
were
totally
left
thought
over.
that we were going to open the podcast with this.
This
And
shot
we
has
said,
been
well,
brought to you by
forgot to.
NordVPN.
Get out of here.
What is NordVPN?
I'm so glad you asked. Aren't you tired of companies tracking your every movement online? Well, with NordVPN, you can have a virtual private network that will disguise your location so your IP address looks like it's from
This actually
anywhere
is
you
not
want
a
it to be.
sponsored ad.
This
Yeah.
is not actually a sponsored ad.
I
A
actually
real
have no
but that's
sponsored
what
ad.
NordVPN
A
is.
real sponsored ad is from Raid Shadow Legends.
Did you guys actually do it? Should we do this now?
Oh, yeah.
I already took it. What are you
Oh,
guys
damn.
doing?
Bang-a-ring.
But maybe we should
Sorry
throw
for
in
my
an ad.
language.
If you guys haven't yet bought some off-axis athletics shoes, got lots of new models out. Got the skate shoes. Use discount code OFFAXISTANNER for 30% off. Get yourself some ninja shoes.
And
Anyways.
discount code off-axis Dillon also for 30%
Facts.
off.
You can
Cannot
use
combine
Dillon.
offers.
Cannot combine.
Disclaimer.
Does
Gotta
not-
pay the bills,
non-transferable, non-refundable.
These lights are expensive.
Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Anyways, so do you guys have
Use
shows
Tanner's.
coming up? You
I
said-
do.
Are you allowed to talk about it or no?
Yeah, I already signed and
Yeah,
everything.
it's
So
with
I'm
All
just doing
Wheels?
all wheels. Yep, I'm doing all wheels at Cedar Point this summer.
Congratulations.
My old stomping grounds.
Yep, on the
All
I'll be
wheel
on the float.
sports.
So.
Is it 7 days a week again?
Yes.
Hey, bro, you've been saying that you want to get shredded.
Oh, I know. Like I just
You're gonna.
you know how Luke Shutt put it is like it's gonna be Groundhog's Day. Like, but you know, it's work. I get in with a new company. Like,
Hopefully
it'll be
it's a-
good.
yeah.
I'll use the time to develop some other stuff. I'll be good to go.
I hope they have new music from last year.
Yeah.
The song was great.
I love
but it
performing
played
with
on
Jill. She's really
repeat.
fun to work with. The production is super professional, really
yeah.
great. I did that show for like 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Never had a bad experience in my one contract with All Wheel Sports.
There you go. That's 100. Hey,
Nice.
that's 100%.
You did which one? Great
Acro
America?
Flight
Oh,
in
Great America,
2016 at California's Great America. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. In San Jose.
Yeah, they've been around since like the early 90s too. So it's not a new company. A lot of people here always I'm like, is that a new company? And no, they've been
No.
around. They had Tony Hawk.
Oh,
They had
Yeah.
Matt
I
Hoffman.
was gonna ask him if you knew. I was like, "Do you know who was in the first All Wheel Sports
Oh,
show?"
Yeah, they had
The
everything.
legend, the OGs.
Yeah, it started off as just like a rollerblading,
What?
roller skating show, and then it's slowly. That's why it's called All Wheels Extreme, and then it's slowly progressed into more and more. And
They went down the cheer path for a minute there, and then she was like, "Maybe we'll just keep the tumbling, but not the cheer."
yeah, we
Mm.
had cheerleaders in our show a couple
Damn.
of years at Knott's Berry Farm. Yeah, they were great. It was.
And-
She's tried like just about anything. We had a skateboarding dog at one point.
Mhm.
Like
I was part
that
of
was not a
her
good experience.
experiment of like more traditional circus acts. So I had the great fortune of working with many very talented circus artists on my first performance contract ever. I didn't even think about my toe point then.
I've never thought about my toe point.
Yeah, you didn't work with Cassie Cutler and Stephen Bryan.
That's fair.
they will shame you for your lack of toe point.
I will shame
But it made me
them
better.
for toe pointing.
And they're proud of me now, and I appreciate
I
them.
just covered up with
Have you
skater
been?
grabs.
Didn't you mention that you were like actually doing ballet to improve like aesthetics in your acrobatics?
Oh, this is interesting. Let's start this.
Yes.
Ballet, huh?
Talk to
I
me.
actually so when I was in first things first, I always wanted to dance. My original inspiration for movement, performance, and acrobatics was actually dance.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't talk about it often.
But this all makes so much sense.
Yeah, right.
True.
And my freshman year of high school, I joined the diving team,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the divers also did ballet, and he was jacked, he was strong, he was an incredible diver, and he was like, yeah, ballet. I was like, what? I want to try that. And then fast forward to I'm in Volta 15 years later, and the dancers in the show have like a little ballet class that they do for themselves where they go over the basics and they run through stuff. Like basic ballet is basically conditioning mobility and flexibility with balance and just all of this amazing stuff all in one
With rhythm.
and set to music
Right.
and so many things.
Right.
And I was like, hey, can I try? They're like, yeah. And so I'm just like stumbling along. But every time I did it, like I would go on the trampoline that day and I'd be like, oh my goodness, I'm so grounded. I'm so centered. My like lines are clean. I'm warmed up and I'm flexible. And I like started to get stronger in a way that like weightlifting didn't do for me.
Yeah.
Right.
So highly recommend everyone try like a beginner ballet or bar class. But I took the beginner class like 1 to 3 times a week for about a year. And
So if you want to be one of the best trampoliers in the world, you got to start taking some ballet.
You
you also have to do like hours of tramwall every day for
right.
years.
Well, yeah.
But also
Really?
do ballet.
Dylan.
It's not going to hurt you.
I
Dylan.
thought I could just do some ballet and learn triple twisting swans.
Right. Hey, so you mentioned something. You mentioned weightlifting, and I know that you really enjoy lifting, and it's a huge part of your lifestyle and conditioning regimen. But you said something once that's really interesting to me. If you had to choose to only do ballet or only lift weights for the rest of your career, which one would you choose?
Ballet.
Why? What is the what's the advantages? Like what can ballet give you that lifting can't, that you think is valuable?
I'm a huge weightlifting fan. I do it every day, twice a day usually.
Oh yeah.
So let's hear this.
I love
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
I love it. I'm a huge fan of strength and
I
conditioning.
think I'm just like addicted to the idea of like looking better, and every
True.
time you leave the gym, your whole body feels really good. Your muscles are pumping.
Correct.
You feel like warmed up. Like it's always been my my every single day that I do shows, like any contract ever, I always go to the gym before and just do like a light workout for every single muscle. Don't do like leg day where obviously you're going to be like, you want to say ballet?
Okay.
Yeah,
everything
like,
that you're
obviously-
describing, ballet will do. Like,
Because I see Tanner's
I want a
because I
chest
know
pump.
this. Well, I want to hear Dylan's now because like I know what you're talking about. Like I also like that part about
100% me
lifting
too.
But this is foreign. So like tell me what can ballet do for you that lifting can't?
so don't get it twisted.
Okay.
I love the pump. I bought Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding back in like 2012. Like, I love lifting weights. I love getting stronger. I love trying to get huge.
I
It's
like how
very
you
hard
talk
for me.
to the camera too. You're the only person who's ever
Well,
looked into the eyes of
yeah.
the audience and talked to them. Like, hey, I'm talking to you guys.
I'm practicing for my podcast.
The only problem is you got something covering your eyes. So
No, they can see me. They can see me. I can see them. They can see me.
It's called a shadow, but whatever.
So
That's just, yeah. Thank you for that.
one of the main drawbacks with weightlifting is that it's way too easy for you to get attached to a certain number with a lift or a certain metric of performance. And when your like ego gets in the way like that, you might not be doing what is best for you. But so like you'll sacrifice a little bit of perfect form to get that extra 10 pounds if even what was best for you that day was to take a deload, lighten up the weight, and just feel good and like do what is good for your body. In ballet, the emphasis on posture is incredible. Like ballet dancers, I've noticed, because I watch bodies and I study physiques, and I've been doing it because I'm a big fan of bodybuilding, like the art and the sport, for a decade now. Ballet dancers have incredibly developed lower traps and rhomboids. Their posture is fantastic. Like,
Yo, Tanner, posture check really quick.
it fucking,
You're welcome.
it works, and it warms up. It really uses your whole body. Like, it's so hard to explain. If you
Is
just
it more
haven't
well-rounded?
tried it, it's so well rounded.
Can you conduct a ballet class, and we can like get a gigantic group of trampwallers out here to do a ballet class? That would
Please.
make my fucking day.
I can have my friend Amanda Soma do it.
Oh, that's a very
I'm
good
not
idea.
qualified to teach a class yet,
But she
Let's do
definitely
it.
is.
but she would be
Oh my
ecstatic
God.
to do it. We could do a whole YouTube video about it. We could do it in my house.
Acrobats doing doing ballet.
We should probably go to a studio. So
I
we have
wanna
a
see-
mirror.
I want to see Marley do it.
Yes, let's do
Oh,
it.
he'll kill
Yeah.
it, bro.
Oh, I know. That's not a doubt. I
Yeah.
want to see it.
And it's just
I
like,
would pay money to see Marley
That's what
doing.
I'm saying.
Marley, who else? Elijah would be great to watch. Julian.
Ooh, Julian.
Actually, Julian would actually be probably good.
Yes. That
Like, he would actually just be good.
hypermobility.
I'm going to reel it back in because I remembered what I actually wanted to say about why, if I could only do one thing for the rest of my life, it would be ballet.
Okay.
It's because of the holistic emphasis, the posture focus, and the nuances within it. Obviously, there's nuance within weightlifting, but the culture doesn't necessarily promote like paying attention to which finger is gripping the bar more than the others. But within ballet, like, every detail matters, and having that nuance and having that softness and gaining that awareness of your body, I see long term when I'm 80 years old, I can still do that and it not harm me. But if I'm attached to deadlifting 600 pounds, which I never have done, by the way, then maybe that's not the best thing for me to be doing when I'm 85, because I'm like, I want to be
Yeah.
like I was. But I could totally be 85 years old and have a beautiful toe point, have amazing lines, move through the floor softly, and be in touch with my body and keep my mobility and everything intact and excellent. And I think ballet is a good way to do it.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I do think there is a way of doing weightlifting, like for longevity. Like, that's personally what I do. I don't lift to get bigger anymore. I was 25 pounds bigger at one point. I was like 185.
Bro, me
jacked,
too.
And like now,
Bro,
I'm
me,
like
like,
160, and I enjoy just being natural and like lifting.
What do you mean being natural? Are you saying that you were on gear?
I've definitely taken testosterone before.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I think I've talked about this before, but
I didn't
Yeah,
know. I didn't know. No judgment.
I've
I've done like boosters.
I've
It's
never
a very,
taken
like-
like the needles or any of that kind of stuff. Really, I've done
No,
it.
like human
it was
growth
like
hormones?
actual
I can't say I've
TRT.
never, but I have tried a few times.
Mhm.
I am not a fan of needles. I
Mm.
ended up buying some. Thought I was going to get into it because I was working at Gold's Gym. Everyone else was doing it. Tried it a few
Everyone's
times, and I
doing
was
it,
like,
bro.
I'm not into this. And like, I
Yeah.
gave away like
Not about that
$200
life.
worth of TRT to like my friend for free.
Can I be a little vulgar?
Sure.
To be honest, my package isn't big enough to sacrifice that. Like,
I did not know where that was going.
I've heard stories. It's like, I want big muscles, but not that bad.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'll see what I can do. But
Just go to Tijuana,
but
get some HGH.
on a real note, to just mess with your hormones, that can destabilize so many systems for so long. And for me, it's just like, it's not been worth it. There's nothing that I will gain from that to warrant me just like gambling with my hormones and my health in that way.
Yeah, but what if you did ballet and steroids? Think about it.
Bro, my adductors
Think
would be
about it.
so big.
Yeah.
Dude, my okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the ego reasons that I wanted to do more ballet
Yeah.
is because of Joey Arrigo. He was the
Okay.
main character of Volta. He was a dancer. He has ballet training. He's very modern. He's incredible. I and hundreds of thousands of other people love to watch him move. Also, his legs look like the most aesthetic, sculpted bodybuilder legs ever. And like he does some like cross conditioning and stuff, but I'm pretty sure he had those legs from dancing before he got into like weightlifting and stuff.
Probably.
They're phenomenal. I just want quads like Joey. Okay,
Dylan's a legs
that's
guy.
the real reason. Everything I said earlier about ballet, it's bullshit. I just want quads like Joey, so I'm gonna do ballet.
Big legs guy over here, huh?
I never thought of ballet as having big legs.
Bro, you need to look
It's
closer
true.
at ballerinas and ballerinos.
Shredded. And just, yeah.
Shouts out to Jimmy for the ballerino term.
I worked with this guy back in Michigan who was like a competitive ballet dancer through college, like very artistic family. When he quit dancing, he lost 25 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, bro, dancers go hard.
Yeah, it was not. It's especially like at that level.
Running and jumping and
Yep.
dipping and lunging and squatting and humping. I'm sorry. It was the only thing that rhymed. It wasn't explicit rhyming. It was on the internal rhyming scheme. Look it up. It's a thing.
I just love how important it was to you to rhyme.
It's a gift.
What rhymes?
And a curse.
That doesn't rhyme, Dylan.
It wasn't supposed to rhyme. I don't have to rhyme all of the time, but damn it, I just did it again, and it kind of feels pretty sublime.
You should have said it feels fine, but it's okay.
No, because I'm is better than ein. Dill Hawks.
7 out of
Holla
10.
at me.
7 out of 10.
What are you guys doing out? I'm sorry, I'm just gonna
No,
get
perfect.
more serious.
No, perfect. Please.
Yeah, no.
Sorry,
Reel
I
us
had some
in.
serious
Reel us
text
in.
messages come in right now.
Distract
but
us from ourselves.
I
Um,
totally didn't even notice.
What are you guys doing outside of Trampwall and performing right now? Because kind of like the whole point of this podcast is kind of like give acrobats ideas on things they can do outside of just performing. Because I think obviously acrobatics is kind of a dead end job. You don't really get like any financial security out of it long term. And looking for other things that can kind of just flow with your life are like great. Like for me, like obviously YouTube and like the businesses and stuff. I've found many different ways in it. What are you guys doing outside of acrobatics to make some money?
So I'm coaching a little bit right now. I'm coaching some Trampwall just to get by, but mostly my big thing is I'm learning how to fly FPV drones. It's been something I've been like super into for a while. So I've got the simulator when I was on contract in San Diego and like putting some hours between shows doing that, and then using the money I'm saving up the spring to get a setup into the summer, and then I'm gonna fly when I'm at All Wheels and hopefully come out of those 2 months with a good amount of flight hours and just looking to do more of that, because like I have the editing side, I have the production side from going to school. Like I can do that. If I add in like this niche skill, I'm trying to like round it out a little bit more like that, you know?
Yeah.
That's probably the main thing that I'm working on outside of training.
I think of drone flying as kind of like extreme sports because it gives me the same exact anxiety that I would have if I was going to go like do a crazy backflip over a box jump or something.
Hell yeah.
But the opposite like kind of feeling, I'm like sitting there, I'm like, that's fucking $1,000 floating around in the air right now.
But not your life.
It's not my life, but it's $1,000. And when a drone crashes, your heart drops. Like I have this crazy story. I was filming.
Does your heart not drop when you crash?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear for the audience.
But your wallet doesn't drop as much.
Yeah.
Unless you have to get surgery.
Yeah. So check this out. I was flying in the road to Hana. Shout out Julian for telling me to go on the road to Hana. It was like a life-changing experience in Hawaii. But anyway, so I wanted to make this crazy drone video of the whole thing because it's super scenic. And I was flying over these, like, because Hawaii is basically a bunch of volcanoes and stuff. And I was getting this cool shot going over the volcano and like over towards the ocean and everything. And all of a sudden, I was like, all right, cool. I got this shot. I need to move way over here. And like, you're kind of trying to save battery. So I put it in sport mode and tried to zoom way over to like the other side. And as I put in sport mode, I like dip, I'm going like super fast, and all of a sudden my screen goes black, and I'm like, that's weird. And I look up and I just see my drone just tumbling in the air. I see the battery from the drone tumbling next to it. And all I can think is like, oh my God, there goes $1,000.
Bye.
And it dropped like half a mile from me down the road. It happened to land not in the volcano or anything. And I'm like searching for it everywhere. And I find my drone literally sitting in a pile of sand, which meant it was perfectly fine.
Oh.
And the battery is just sitting right next to it. And I was like, dude, all around it didn't even, like, the chances that it landed near the road was preposterous. And
in a pile of sand.
In a pile of sand.
And with
from,
the
like,
battery,
1,000 feet.
like how close? Like within a foot from it?
No, the battery wasn't that close. The battery we had to look for a while, and actually the battery was broken. But
okay, but still,
the drone
you
was
got the drone.
It was fine except for like one propeller.
How much is like a battery?
For my
It's
drone,
like
it was
$180,
like
isn't it?
no,
The intelligent ones?
maybe.
What drone was this?
It's a Spark.
Oh yeah, the Spark. No,
Yeah, I
not
wasn't
as
gonna
much.
take my good
Spark.
drone. And
Is
fly
Spark
around
the
there.
brand or the model?
It's a DJI Spark. It's like the
Oh,
smallest. It's like
okay,
the
okay,
smallest
okay,
good
okay.
drone, but
Yeah.
it was good like 5 years ago. It's probably not very good now because it only shoots in 1080.
It's not even 4K. Get wrecked.
Dude, people's phones do like 8K now. Actually,
Wait, what phone?
my old phone could shoot in like 8K in 24 frames.
What was your old phone?
I had a Samsung Galaxy like S20 Plus. It's totally unnecessary. Like, you didn't need it for anything.
Well, except unless you're trying to just shoot a whole scene and then punch in 4 times to make a wide angle, a vertical for TikTok. And you're filming a
yeah,
whole
I'd
scene.
still use an iPhone. Honey, it just looks so much better.
Wait, really?
And you can only shoot
Is it
in
because
24.
because of the like the software things that they have? I was watching a YouTube video about this, that like the camera itself isn't necessarily groundbreaking and like earth shattering, but how they optimize the camera with the software is what actually like gives iPhones its like
They do in-camera HDR, yeah.
what is HDR?
High definition resolution.
What?
High dynamic range.
Okay. I was actually guessing.
That was
Oh,
close.
nice. I actually knew that it's high dynamic range, but I like kind of understand it, but I
I
don't
should know
understand
that.
it enough to explain
So let's
to
take
someone else.
Let's do it like in the idea of photography, because it's a lot easier. So
Okay, great.
HDR is essentially taking 3 photos at 3 different exposure levels, like one bright, one normal, and one kind of dark, and then taking the most detailed parts of those and just putting them together, so you get detail through the entire range of light.
What is exposure level?
How exposed
it's
a photo
brightness.
is? How exposed a photo is? Yeah, is
It's like fake brightness, you know, like when you're like, man, I don't want to get into the details of cameras, but it's
I
like
know.
it's like taking
we
a
go back
black
to
photo
film-
and making it wider and wider, but there's gonna be more grays
So
in
if
it.
we-
Like
if-
it's
You ever take a picture and it's just like total? It's
Washed
blown
out.
out. There's too much light.
That's
It's overexposed.
Overexposed.
And it's,
okay.
if it's underexposed, it's too dark. It didn't get enough light. A proper
Okay.
exposure means there was just the right amount of light.
So for me and for the audience, exposure comes from the term because you actually used to have to expose physical film to light. And
Well, you
the
still-
shutter speed determined the level of exposure. So if
It
it,
can-
was open
it
for too long,
yeah.
then too much light got in.
That's one thing that affects it. Yeah. There's 3 settings
Can we
that
go?
affect
Can we
exposure.
go
I
down
don't-
this rabbit hole about the like what affects exposure? I'm curious. I bet some people are, and we have like a guy who graduated film school here.
sure.
we can
Real
Yeah,
quick.
we can
just real quick.
tech nerd out. Okay, so like 3 basic settings affect exposure. We'll just like go the digital camera because that's what people are using anyways. You have shutter speed, you have aperture, and you have ISO.
Can I mess with those on this?
I don't
Maybe
know
with
by
the
default.
DSLR.
Yeah, like I'm just
Okay.
like that's why I said just camera.
Okay.
Like literally
Shutter
like
speed, aperture,
ISO.
ISO.
So
Oh,
like basically
ISO.
the basic way that a camera works has barely changed since it was created. The technology has changed a lot. So like let me give you the basic rundown. Shutter
Mhm.
speed is how long you let light hit the sensor. You know, so like it's covered. Yep, it exposes light to it, shuts it. So like 1/125th is a shutter speed. That's how long it's open. That's how long it's open, letting light in and closes again.
25th of a second.
1/125th of a second. And then so like
What?
that's slow. Like most mirrorless DSLRs can shoot at like mine shoots
So
at like
that's like
1/6000.
That's a millisecond. Wow.
That's what shutter speed is. So like your phone does that too.
Wow.
So that's one thing that affects it. Aperture is literally how big the hole is in the lens that lets light through. So adjusting that not only adjusts light, but something called depth of field, and it's basically how much of your picture is in focus. Have you ever put your thumb in front of your eye? Okay, focus on your thumb. See how the background goes blurry?
It's too close to focus on it. Oh, okay, I can do it.
See how the background, now without moving your thumb, focus on the background. Your thumb should get blurry.
Yep. And now there's two of them.
That's depth
But
of
if
field.
I do it with one eye, it doesn't matter. Because
That's depth of field. Like how much of your image is in focus. The camera is modeled after the human eye.
And aperture determines depth of focus?
The more open
because
it is.
because your pupil goes bigger and smaller when you change where you're focusing.
Yeah, the camera is modeled after the human eye.
Yeah, basically.
Science.
All
Okay,
right, so
I'm
now that we've
satisfied
lost
with
half
this
of
rabbit
our
hole.
audience on camera,
Yeah, I
nerdy
know.
stuff, let's go to how fun was it living in those houses where you guys were just doing social media and stuff? Would you do it again? And
Hold on, I have to have a meeting with my cohort.
okay, so for those who are just listening, they're creating some sort of plan, or I don't know what they're doing.
Okay, we are prepared to answer your questions.
Dylan is a lightweight. He's wasted after that one little vodka shot we took.
Nerd.
You think this is because of the
Nerd.
alcohol?
I don't know,
Yes.
dude. I can see your mustache like poking up, like.
You think the more I drink, the more... Oh, my God, that would be amazing. I want that superpower. The more I drink, the more that my
Mustache
curls. That'd be incredible.
Imagine if you could curl and uncurl your mustache.
Like a muscle.
Yeah, like a muscle, like a cat can like fuck with their tail, or like.
Yeah, but just the hair, Dylan.
Okay, now that we've lost 3/4 of our audience, how was it living in the social media house, and would you do it again?
First question's easy. Second question's really hard. Overall, I regard it as like an extremely positive experience. I learned a lot. I'm in a way better place than I would have been. I had some amazing times.
So many amazing
Yeah,
times.
like-
Dude, even your first night, I wish that we had these clips just
I do
handy
somewhere.
to show you. They're somewhere.
Yeah.
They're somewhere.
The first night that I came to Joshua Tree, I got picked up from the airport by Luke and Amanda and showed up pretty late. And I showed, what were people? It was like, I showed up to the middle of just some random dance party at the house, basically. And
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure we weren't like really...
no,
We weren't like really in it. It was like...
you weren't intoxicated. You were
you-
just having a good time.
Yeah, you showed up. I got this like huge wave of energy. Like the minute you walked in the door. And then like we were like kind of hanging out, and then all of a sudden it was just like full on like dance party.
Like
from then
slap
on. Like we
happy.
weren't like doing a crazy dance party before you got there. Like it like happened as you arrived.
Yeah.
And then you like whipped out your camera. There's videos of Jake Hinga doing crazy stuff.
There
with
was
me
more male
wearing-
strip teases than there
there-
were female by a lot.
like wearing women's clothes, like hair in pigtails. Like we just went crazy.
Yeah, we know how
and
to party.
Like, only half of the people were even drinking alcohol at that time. Like Jake had made a personal commitment to not have any alcohol until they got a contract for money.
Basically,
because of
like
social media.
it was
Did
pretty
that-
magic. It was pretty
Anyways,
magic.
yeah,
Like,
that was but that was the first night.
the sense of community was really, really strong, especially in the beginning.
It
when
looked
we
really
lived in
fun. I
Joshua
kind of wish
Tree.
I like came down at some point.
You should have, but hey.
I count myself fully blessed because my experience of COVID and the pandemic and quarantining was living in a house with 10 people, living in 3 different houses with 10 people plus,
With the
doing Trampwall, making silly skits with my friends, hanging out, working out, spending just time in nature, like getting to see sunrises and sunsets again, and not being alone. And I realized that so many people, they like, if they could go to work, they went to work, they went home, they watched movies and they did nothing else, or they worked remotely from home alone. And I had a family the entire time.
Yeah.
And
we were like an actual tribe. We were just like
Yeah.
self-contained, and we kept saying the word that kept going around is like, bro, like there's almost not a way to, but like we would look at everything going on and feel like we were just winning. Like
Yeah.
not even because like we
Not
weren't
like
even
winning
making
over
money.
anyone else.
No. We weren't
I mean,
like
some
making.
people made money.
Not in Joshua Tree, bro. It was like the very beginning of all of this. It was like
but we were living.
no, but that's what I mean. Like we were
Yeah.
winning because we just like we got to do something unique and be with people we cared about, and like the volatility, excitement comes with volatility, right? We had no idea what was going to happen, literally week to week.
We booked the Airbnb for 2 weeks.
True.
2 weeks became 2 months.
And then 2 months,
2 months became 2 years.
damn near.
Legend became myth, and myth was soon forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were very few who remembered the ring.
I will say it was really interesting for me going in and like that was my first real exposure to Trampwall, was like in that type of environment. And it was, and that's exactly. That's the case for a lot of people now. Like when I was working at, let's say Woodward, like, kids are trying Trampwall, like, hey, like where have you seen this? And like, oh, I see this all over like TikTok. And so like it worked in that way. Like it really spread it, but it was interesting to come into it in that way and then leave the house and then go train for fun and then come back around and then experience it in this new way, which is more just independent of, more on the performance side of things and on like just the raw training side.
Yeah.
It's actually been really good.
So long story short, living in the house, the social media houses, was a good experience.
Yeah. I journaled that forever ago.
Would you do it again?
Like in the, like, okay, hang on. When you say do it again, do you mean relive it again or
No.
do another one?
Do another social media house for however long under whatever conditions.
Depending on would I live in one? Yes. Because now I'm a lot, I've learned a lot since then. Would I participate in one? I have no interest in doing social media as a profession, like in the industry.
So you would live in a house with people doing social media and the house's purpose being social media,
Yes.
but you wouldn't.
I would not tie my income to it.
Interesting.
My livelihood would be separate. And then because, dude, like social media influencers, for the most part that I've seen, are highly creative individuals. They're just always making stuff. That's fun. I like that. So I would do that side of things. But like I said, if I don't have to tie my income to it, it means that I can create more freely and just have fun with it. And that I would 100% do. Like living in a house of creatives is really a good time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I wish there was more creatives living here because we kind of had the same sort of vibe. We moved in here like 25 days or so right before the pandemic started. But it was like me, my ex-fiance, Mason, who's creative, not social media creative, my brother, and some other there's been some like revolving roommates, but it was a good time here for sure. But I just remember like when the whole pandemic hit, like people didn't want to come over, like people were mad at me for holding training sessions.
Yeah, it was a huge thing. That's why we had the Airbnb. That's why we booked the Airbnb
In the
Joshua
desert
Tree.
near
I was
nobody.
gonna go over to one of the houses, and then you guys all had COVID or something, or someone had COVID, and they're like, "Never mind, don't come," because
Yeah, I don't even know when that was.
I think it was-
That would have had to have been Fallbrook.
That was
It was
Fallbrook.
it was
towards the
Fallbrook.
end. Yeah. That was crazy. I had already left the
Remember
house at
that.
that time. I hate to do this, but I really have to use the bathroom, so I'm gonna dip out.
yeah. I mean, we only got like 10 minutes left.
I'll be back.
And so, yeah, for us, like it was same kind of family vibe and stuff. I mean, personally, I was the only guy really doing like the social media stuff. I kind of
Right.
have to for the footwear company. But
No, it's almost
me-
it's marketing.
yeah,
Yeah.
YouTube was everything because I already was making money off of YouTube.
True.
But I was like, obviously, all my I've had the 3 businesses: the shows, the shoes, and the YouTube channel for a while. And then like the shows, which was like my bread and butter, where I was supposed to make more money than I've ever seen in my entire life in 2020, all disappeared. And I was like, oh, damn, like put all my eggs in one basket. And now I'm like stuck with the YouTube. I was making like $300 a month or so. So I really like nailed down the YouTube, and the shoe company is, I mean, it's kind of a headache, but it's a fun business to be in.
So you pivoted basically.
I had to pivot,
Right.
you know? I was like, I had also, like, for people who are listening, when you book shows and stuff, you have to put, like, I have to build sets. I have to paint stuff. I have to get insurance for the performers, and all that stuff is not refundable. And when you have 25 shows that you thought you were going to be doing, you put in like, I think I lost about $8,000 just poofed out of thin air, and then all of a sudden I'm stuck with like, maybe I could get unemployment. I don't know. That was like my savior, honestly, because I was like $10,000 in debt from like all those shows, and I was expecting, because COVID basically canceled all of our shows about 8 days before the first one.
Oh God.
And it was like, here we go. And I had already basically given up on the shoe company at that point.
Interesting.
Like, because the first experience with the shoes was like, shoes didn't come out as good as I thought they were supposed to. The soles weren't sewn to the shoes. They kind of fell apart. They weren't as good as it possibly was. And like, obviously shoes are a ton of money, so I had spent like every dollar I had basically trying to get this shoe company going, and it didn't really go at first. But I kind of realized, okay, maybe the Trampwall community, which I thought we were just going to make Trampwall shoes. I thought, okay, maybe, I guess in hindsight, it was not big enough to make a shoe. Like, we sold like 100 pairs of shoes right off the bat to Trampwallers, and then we stopped selling them.
That was all of the Trampwallers in the world.
We sold one shoe to, Well, in my head, I was like, well, just the Trampwall group on Facebook has a, what's it called? Trampwall World?
Yeah.
Trampwall World has 1,000 people. I'm like, well, we're making 1,000 shoes. Maybe everyone will buy one.
Yeah.
No,
but
I still got
almost
like
every
600
show
of those pairs of shoes.
provides shoes.
That was my
for
other
their
thought.
People.
You know, Hoya was the only one who bought shoes from us, actually. It was the only
Interesting.
show.
Yeah.
And I forget.
Well,
who,
did you know that Cirque had a deal with ASICS?
No.
Yeah. They had like there's specific custom ASICs that you can only get by
the brown,
doing a
the
Cirque
tan
du
ones.
Soleil shoe. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even beyond that, like all of the other shoes, even if they weren't those custom ones, it was like one of the main acrobatic shoes that they get.
Yeah, for sure. Well, now I'm trying to do the whole entire thing over again with scootering, because I think scootering obviously is much more for me. I don't think people think of me as a Trampwall guy. I think of me as a scooter rider. And like, that's what we're making shoes for now, is the scootering, but they are still acrobatic shoes. So for those of you who want to jump off stair sets, these are probably not the shoes for you. But
have you thought about making a parkour specific shoe?
I have, but the problem is I don't do parkour. I'm not in the parkour community. It's not ideal for me. There's also other parkour shoes out there. And for me, I don't know if you guys have heard of the book Blue Ocean Strategy, but so Blue Ocean Strategy is basically like, there's the blue ocean and the red ocean. The red ocean is all these businesses competing to make small profits on products, and there's so many competitors all in one group. But if you can swim your boat over to the blue ocean where no one else is, for me, that was Trampwall at first. No one's making acrobatic shoes. And now it's also scootering. There's no scooter shoes out there right now. If I was to jump into parkour, I'm competing with Olo and Tempest and like other groups who actually like specialize
like
in that kind of stuff.
Strikes, and I think
So
APK also has their own shoe.
And like off axis, I really think of as like, I want to support the sports that don't get support. You know, we don't have sponsorships and stuff in Trampwall. We don't really in scootering as well. So I want to like support the sports that don't get the shine that they should be getting. That's my opinion. But yeah, that's kind of like Blue Ocean Strategy in a nutshell.
That sounds.
So that's why I would avoid, like, people are like, oh, you can hire these skateboarders and get them sponsored and all this stuff, and I'm like, dude, skateboarders
trying to
have
compete with
Vans and like Osiris and
DC.
stuff, and like I'm staying away from that. Scooter riders don't get the love though, so we're going with scootering. And you know, everyone was wearing wrestling shoes. I'm like, all the money that the acrobats spend goes to the wrestling industry, and we don't see a dime of that on the back end. You know, at least if you support like off axis and stuff, we're paying money to acrobats. People are getting signature shoes, and people are, we're having events and that kind of stuff, you know? So you kind of see like when that's like, I don't know. I personally always think of where my money goes. Like, I try to not buy shit off Amazon. I try to not go to McDonald's and fast food chains. Like, when I'm driving across the country, I look and pick out like little local restaurants that I can like help support them, because those are the people that need it, rather than big corporations and stuff. And I think a lot of people complain about how much money like big corporations have, but they don't realize when they go on Amazon. Yeah, exactly. You're feeding them. And it's like, people get mad at capitalists and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, but did you get Starbucks today? Are you using an iPhone? Well,
Convenience trumps all.
Yeah.
yeah, it does.
Yeah. When you were talking about not trying to compete with these big companies and everything and like supporting people who don't get support, it reminded me that I never answered your question of what are we doing outside of acrobatics to support that. And if I can plug real quick.
Segway.
Uh-oh. Sponsor. Dillon is sponsored by Trampwall.
So my roommate Marley and our friend Mo, they started designing these like t-shirts and logos and everything and like translating them into Trampwall, and it birthed this idea of Trampwall Academy, and it's basically everything Trampwall for the Trampwall community and for artists, as well as like they're making these t-shirts and they're printing them, cutting the vinyl by hand, pressing them by hand, and making these t-shirts by their own like artistic design and everything. And it's just like, it's another avenue of income to support artists and also to support the Trampwall Academy. And like, that's something right now that I'm super stoked on.
Well, you said everything for Trampwall artists, and then you talked about the merch. So what else are you guys going to be doing? What's in the works? What's the plan?
Is there a business model or business name or anything yet?
Or like, what do you want to do?
The name right now is Trampwall Academy, but for me personally, what I want to like contribute to this, like Trampwall Academy is really, it's like Marley's baby, so I don't want to like speak for him, but having coaching,
you're marketing
having
for him.
resources.
Yeah, so
like,
if you're a Trampwall out there listening,
yeah, but I'm not
Marley,
like I'm not. Yeah, for sure. Support Marley.
If you're gonna buy a T-shirt,
if you
give
want
your
to
money to
know
Marley.
like
Don't
where
give
there's
it
a
to
Trampwall
Vance.
near you, like on the Trampwall Academy page, we want to put a link to the list on Google Maps of every Trampwall in the world.
You want to make a
Like,
database?
if you,
Tight.
it already exists. It's a Google Maps like list. So we're
Sweet.
just gonna share that and
Sweet. Wait,
connecting
hold on.
people with
Just
coaches.
Don't put my address on there.
Connecting people with information. Are you sure it's not already on there?
No, I'm not sure.
That's
All right. Well, then you
I
should
know
go.
it's
You
not
should
hard
go
to
to
find my
Trampwall
place.
World and look for the Google Maps link Trampwall around the world, and see if it is or is not there.
Cool.
Most of it is.
I don't
like,
really
it's
care
like
much if
businesses,
Trampwall
it's
show up at my house
schools,
randomly.
It's gyms.
But I've had some random people that watch my YouTube channel show up at our house.
ooh.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't show up to Tanner's house.
I've got guns. Don't show up here.
Um,
And cameras.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question for you. You're talking about like big companies, and you're talking about not really being interested in competing in the skate industry, and that just like made me think with the progression of action sports recently, and the addition of slope style into Winter Olympics and skating into the Summer Olympics. Do you think that scootering will make it to the Olympics, or would
I
you
think
want
so.
it to?
I'd give it about another 8 years before it does.
Okay.
I think it does. I think it'd be great for it too.
Okay.
I also think that action sports, they progress so fast that it gets so insanely dangerous, and I kind of worry about these kinds of things because, for one, there's no like I am an ISA judge, which means I like judge the biggest scooter contests and stuff, and there's not really like a specific format, so it sometimes it can turn. Especially for the kids who are inexperienced, it turns into a huck fest.
Yeah.
And you see kids get really hurt in these kinds of competitions and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it will, but I also think we're getting to this cap point at action sports where it is getting so insanely dangerous that I don't know how much further I want to see it go. Like we've already done quadruple backflips and stuff. What else? Like, do I really want to see someone trying a quadruple backflip in a competition? Not really.
Maybe a transition more towards style. That's happened a little bit in skiing.
Yeah.
Not so much
We
on the
do
competition
have style.
level.
So when we judge
Right.
competitions, there's 4 different categories. There's style,
Okay.
there's like quantity of tricks, there's use of course, and there's difficulty. And that's how we break down the Trampwall contests as well. So it's like style is like how unique are you? Do all of your tricks look the same? Because like if you watch a lot of Trampwall guys, not like our group and stuff, but especially like no offense to the Canadians, but they all kind of look the same. And like,
well, I mean,
it's
they
like,
have actual schools there.
exactly.
True.
So they have schools and gymnastics and stuff. Everyone kind of looks the same. So that, and just like that's why I didn't like for the last competition. I do like kind of stress out about the fact that I have like all these people trying super crazy stuff. So I wanted the last competition to not be just a gigantic huck fest. So we put use of course as one of the main parts of it. So I wanted people to focus on using the course rather than just hucking the craziest possible tricks anyways.
So that's actually like a perfect transition. You kind of use some of your action sports backgrounds, you know, as someone who's done both, been really deep in the action sports world and is involved in Trampwall. Like I know I myself have noticed some of the parallels. Obviously it's not a 100% match, but I definitely see a lot of the parallels in Trampwall to action sports. And some of them are not even within the sport. The community aspect is really interesting. You know, the fact that you can, you can hit up random people that do Trampwall and just connect really easily. So, friend Travis that you know of, it lives in Colorado.
Yeah, I got to meet that guy.
Yeah,
you do.
So he's a programmer, works from home. Really likes Trampwall. Started later in life. I think it said like 28, 29 started Trampwall, and now he's 34. But has his own setup, and I had never met him before, and I was living in Northern California, and I was like, hey, I am trying to, you know, pursue performance in Trampwall. I was looking to spend some time in Colorado. I would love to come out and just bounce with you. And he's like, yeah, do you want to just stay here? Yeah. And
That is sweet.
Yeah. And it was amazing. And I didn't stay with him. I had, cause I have my van and stuff, but
to even have that door opened is incredible.
Yeah,
That's one of the things that I love about the parkour.
So if you're a
and free
Trampwaller
running
out there, you can
community
stay
as
at
well.
Travis's house. I'm just kidding.
I mean, you can ask.
Yeah. Seems like a great guy. I'm definitely going to hand him up.
You can ask
100%.
anything of anyone. Whether they say yes or no, you never know. But
Yeah, a lot of people stayed at our house too.
yeah, I did for a minute.
So, but anyways, that rounds about like, what other parallels do you see between Trampwall and action sports?
I definitely look at, so from the very beginning, because I got into Trampwall in 2016 or 17, and for me, I saw scootering because I was one of the first scooter riders. I started in 2000. I'm like one of the original 20 scooter riders that actually took it seriously. And I saw the same thing of Trampwall, and I was like, this is going to be big in a few years. It just needs the proper exposure
platform,
and there's already the community and stuff, and it needs to be more accessible. And I saw that from in 2016, and I was like, I'm gonna capitalize on this and try to really do what we did with scootering and take it to Trampwall and really put out. That's why I started doing YouTube videos. I was like, YouTube can help expose this. And personally, some people are going to disagree because a lot of people got mad at me for having a Trampwall competition the first time.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
people felt the same way in the parkour community.
same thing with scootering.
No community is ever gonna be
interesting.
fully on the same page with anything ever.
Yeah, so a lot of people got mad at me. They didn't want Trampwall to be blown up to the world, and that's kind of already happened in the last few years. But I was
Too late.
in my head. I was like, the more people that see Trampwall, the more people hire Trampwall, the more job opportunities there are. And we were just talking the other day. There's probably only 30 to 40 professional Trampwallers that actually make a solid living off of Trampwall. But the more people that know about Trampwall, the more people that can hire it. Because if you don't know what Trampwall is, in fact, most of our shows come from people looking for a BMX show, and they see Trampwall on our website, and they're like, "What's this? Let's definitely hire this." Because if you don't know what Trampwall is, you can't hire. You can't be like, "Yeah, let's have a Trampwall act," because you don't know what it is.
Yeah,
but
right.
if you do know what it is, people are going to go and Google it and look for it, and there's more opportunities for more people, and more people can make a living off of it.
Right.
And it's super fun. I enjoy doing it, and other people enjoy doing it. So why not be able to possibly make a living off of it?
Yeah.
For sure.
As someone who is, very involved in the tricking community, literally exact same problems. Shout out my BBBs, Sam Lincoln, starting a cult out here, but he's trying to do the same thing. He's trying to just spread tricking as far as he can. And that's really the mission. It's just awareness. It's step one before anything. That's why you ask anyone who doesn't live under a rock, hey, you know what skateboarding is? right? Like you know that answer, but it's like I do Trampwall or like I do tricking. You know, it's like I do Trampwall. It's like, oh, what's that? It's like, oh, it's a trampoline and there's like a wall next to it, and they're like, oh, you mean that? Like, yeah, that thing I see on
thing on
Instagram.
TikTok?
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
that's
time.
that's what it's.
Oh, you do junk tramp?
Right. Yeah,
Yep.
we're professional junk trampers.
Yeah, he's definitely taking over that, but as for good reason too. JR has put in so much effort and like.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
100%.
he's built a
I
good
was so
brand.
blown away
Love the
by
man.
the effort that he would put into
Yes.
Trampwall. Like every day, like that's where I learned Trampwall basically. And every time we would go over there, he'd have this crazy contraption set up, like new walls and like different variations of Trampwall, multiple Trampwalls, and like you really. The problem with Trampwall is it's so expensive to get started. It's like $7,000 for a
Accessibility.
Trampwall.
Access. Yeah, that's. I mean,
And
that's
you
one
need
of
those
the big.
people to put
Yeah.
up the money that are
Yep.
gonna make the Trampwall, because unfortunately not anyone can just start a Trampwall. Like, you know, you can't just go and buy a Trampwall at the store or
Right.
something. It takes a big investment.
Favorite fun.
Can't go to Walmart and get a tramp wall yet.
Right. Favorite fun fact for people who don't know is that JR, you know, who is Junk Tramp, doesn't really do Trampwall. Like,
Well, no, he does though.
oh, okay, a little, but,
but
like,
not like to perform.
do you think he would identify as a Trampwall artist?
Not artist.
No,
would
but
say
he does.
Trampwaller.
He can do tramp wall.
I know, but like, what was his main goal with building it? It was not to do Trampwall.
It was for his son.
Well,
Yeah.
it was.
No, exactly.
So
That's
his
what
son
I'm
had
saying.
a
Like,
place to bounce.
he's always been like, yeah, it's always been building and giving and being creative in that way. And like, that's a super important niche to fill. Look
Yeah,
at skating. There are people in skating who are known for just documenting it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's super important.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so before we wrap up, I got a few quick questions for you guys. If you were to choose a Trampwaller in the world, who would you live on an island with? Just you two.
That's a very good question.
Dylan, I think you were like the favorite in the last podcast that we asked this question to.
Yeah, I heard that
deal.
Luke answered me. I was so honored.
So who would you live on an island with? Let's take Luke out of the question. You can't choose Luke because he chose you.
Julian Kalari.
Okay, Julian. Yeah, Julian would be great to live on an island with because he lived on an island.
He's yeah. Shouts out to Maui.
Yeah, Dylan's got his. I don't know. I feel like Dylan would become one with nature and just start swinging from the trees. It wouldn't take too long.
What do you mean become?
I
Anyways.
could see like you and Julian having like these traps set up and stuff.
Yeah.
Swinging from the trees,
I mean, you got to eat somehow.
doing some ballerina practice.
From a personality level, I would say from a personality level right now, it's between Dylan and Marley.
Everyone has picked Marley also.
Dylan and Marley. Yeah.
This
Or like,
Dylan?
hey, wait, can I listen to
Not Dylan Broadway.
Can I listen? Right, Dillon Vance. Can I listen to music when I'm on the island?
No.
What? Okay, fine.
Ooh.
I just said no because you wanted me to say yes.
Damn it. Okay, if I had
It's an
access to
island. You have nothing but a tramp wall and a. Wait, do we have a tramp wall?
You have a tramp wall.
You have a tramp wall.
And this
Ooh.
one other tramp waller.
Oh, I'd like to change my answer. Luke Diestel.
Luke
Diestel. For sure. He just like
I could get down with
we'd
that.
he'd carve some surfboards out of some trees. He'd teach me to do that. It's basically what he just did he's doing in Costa Rica right now. He's just surfing and doing tramp wall. It'd be that, but just us.
Okay. And next question: if you were to get in a bar fight with someone, who do you think has your back the most, and who's maybe not who has your back the most, but who would you want to get into a bar fight with?
You mean who do you want on your side in a bar
Who
fight?
would you want on your side?
Is Luke
Shupp.
back?
Okay, wait. We can't choose Luke because he was the last person to ask these questions to.
Damn it.
Okay.
Second, because otherwise we only have two selections. It's Luke and Dylan, and I don't remember who the other person was.
I feel like Mo would be sneaky.
Mo.
Mo, yeah.
I can see Mo like loading up on bottles behind the bar and just launching.
Do you
them
know
at
how
people.
many kung fu movies Mo has watched?
I don't.
Too many. Actually, I take that back. Just the right amount.
Yeah. Enough.
Yeah.
I would choose Broadway because he's
Oh,
a borderline psycho. And
That's
he's-
true.
If Dylan gets riled up, you do not want to be in his path of destruction.
No. Like, if we're doing like classes, he's a berserker.
Yeah.
For sure.
Dylan would send it.
I can respect that answer. Dylan? Yes?
I might have to go with Marley on this one.
Really?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. He's a sleeper cell.
Yeah?
You think he's the chillest, but you don't know where he's from.
He can-
You don't know his life.
He can handle himself.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
Sweet.
I'm sure he'd have
I
my
do
back.
need to wrap it up right here.
Right, hit me.
But for social media, where does everyone follow you guys?
At Dillon Vance 24/7.
Oh my God, it's 24/7. I did not even realize that. I thought it was 247 this whole time. I didn't put together 24/7.
Always, baby.
And
Dillon.
you are the
Never
camera
off.
guy.
No, mine's easy. It's at Duballs, DUBALLS, like doubles.
Doubles.
Duballs, baby.
I didn't even put those together. Either.
Yeah,
Doubles.
it's just it's an old nickname that stuck, but it's part of
Because
the brand
your last name is
Dubois.
Dubois,
Yeah.
which is DUBOIS.
Are you
It's just
French?
like Duballs.
My dad's family's from Arkansas, so like you go back far enough, yeah.
Same thing.
Right.
Arkansas, France. I didn't even know there was shit in Arkansas. I thought it was just a freaking desert. Anyways, all right. We're going to wrap it up right here. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you guys subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Thanks for having me, Tanner.
Thank you.